Now, how to measure inflation? So are you clear with that concept now? Inflation, deflation, don't get confused with that. Okay, it's very simple concept. Now, in relation to measuring inflation, how to measure inflation? To measure inflation, we have in India what is called as price index. Price index. Now, before going to this concept, price index, you need to have an idea what this index is about. Concept called index. You will study lot of index. Have you heard about this term, Sensex, Nifty? Have you seen this term? What is that? Now what we will discuss under capital market, but try to understand it is an index. Now this consumer price index, its term it's there. Wholesale price index, it is again an index. Now what is an index? It is nothing but a specialized average of certain items. If it is an average, it has to have some items. So index, in index, few features are there. First of all, index is a specialized average of some items. And what is the purpose of index? We can measure relative change of certain phenomena. We can measure the relative change. Index will show you the change, relative change to a particular, for in relation to price index, it will show the relative change in the price level. Okay, so by comparing the price index of 2 months, by comparing the price index of 2 months, the government can see that what has happened in general to the price level. If the price index have increased, it means that there is an increase in the price level. So index is normally, it's a specialized average, and it is mainly used to measure relative change in a phenomena. Normally it depends on, so regarding share market indexes, basically it will show the relative change in the share prices. Okay, so price index measure, so price index is again an index which is a specialized average which will measure the relative change in the price level. Now through price index only we measure, inflation. Now you need to understand how price index is constructed. Just for your concept, how price index is constructed. To construct a price index, I am introducing a new concept, what is called as base year. It's very important. I posted an article, a small news related with the base year. Now base year is nothing but the government to measure the price level, they take a normal year prices. They take a normal year prices and fix, if they fix that year as base year, then during that year, what is the prices of every commodity and prices, that will be set as the base price. And with that price only we will compare. So we need a base year for what? To compare the relative change in the price level. So when we select a base year, what is the specialty of that year? It has to be a normal year. It can't be an abnormal year where the prices is very high or low. That is abnormal year. Normal year where if you take an average of 10 year, if you take what is the average price level? So that level has to be there in that normal year. So base year will be a, so we will discuss about base year in other topics also, not related to inflation, but normally every base year will be a normal year where there will not be any big fluctuation, especially we are talking about prices here. We are talking about prices here. So in this base year, in this year, we have to see that the prices of most of the commodities are in the normal range where we see it in common. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of base year in inflation? The base year have only one role to play. What is that? To construct price index. base year have only one role to play in this chapter, in this topic, inflation. Base year is mainly used for what? To construct the price index. Now to construct price index, what normally the government does is, or the agency which prepare the indexes, if they want to create the present year price index, what they do, they check the to price of the current year price. See, we are going to create price year in price index. Current year price divided by base year price will give you current year price index. So base year is mainly used to what? To find or to calculate what? So by using the base year, we can calculate the price index of all the years. So I'm again and again and repeating this word. Price index can be calculated by using the base year price. Now take this case of this year, present year is 2016-17, it's not complete. So we can take 2015-16. We can have create this price index for 2015-16, then 14-15, 2013-14. Now we know that the price index here it is 180, here it is 170, here it is 155. So how we have calculated this? By these are all what? Price index. These are all price index. So price index is very easy to calculate. What? You need to know the current year price divided by the base year price, you will get the price index. Now if you want to know the inflation, see, I already told you how to know the price index. Now if we want not price index, what we want to know? We want to know the inflation rate. Now in relation to inflation, keep this in mind that inflation is calculated in relation to the price index of previous year. Inflation is calculated in relation to the price index of, so now forget about, first thing is that you need to know how to prepare price index. Are you clear with how to prepare a price index? Very simple. What? Current year price divided by base year. Now if you want to know the inflation rate of current year, for that what you need to require is, you need to know the current year, you need to know only price index of what? Current year price index and previous year price index. Now what we will do? We will find the difference of current year price index minus previous year price index divided by previous year price index into 100 will give you inflation rate. Current year, so how to calculate this inflation rate? Current year price index minus previous year price index divided by previous year price index into 100 will gives you inflation rate. Now don't get confused. So I'm again repeating because I'm going to introduce a new concept, what is called as base effect. Are you clear with how to calculate price index and how you calculate inflation rate? Now notice, if you have read the article which I posted, inflation data is released monthly and inflation data is in relation to previous year month. Now the latest inflation data is of which month? It is November in data. So how they said that inflation have increased or inflation have decreased? Inflation have come down. The news is, what the news is? Inflation have decreased. In relation to what? The inflation rate have decreased in relation to previous year same month. So the data is about November 2016. What they say? in relation to November 2015. So it means November 2016 price index and November 2015 price index, they will minus it and divide it by the price index of November 2015, and they say that, okay, and now they say that this is the inflation, so it has come down. It has come down. So it means that increase in price index of last year month and this year month is a slight increase have happened. So that's the reason why inflation have so actually I already told you it is an index. Index is what? It's a specialized average. So we'll come to it. It's a special, see, there is a weightage is been, actually it's a weightage is given to different commodity. Weightage has been given to different commodity. We have a basket of commodities. We have when to calculate inflation, we have, see, when we talk about an index, it consists of a list of items. So a basket, so when we talk about inflation, it consists of basket of commodities. A basket is there in which we calculate a particular inflation. So it includes certain commodities. We'll come to it. Say, Mike, for time being, you try to understand that I'll not discuss that. We'll come to it. We'll discuss in detail different types of index. Now my question is, since it is an index, since it is an average, what does it mean? It is a weighted average. A particular weight have been given to different items. Now it's very simple. How weightage will be given? An item which you consume the most will be given more weightage. Now you tell me which item you consume the most. Food items. So for food items will be given more weightage in the inflation. We'll discuss it. There are different types of inflation index. I'm not going to it. Now my question is, I want you to understand this two concepts. What is price index? How it is calculated? And what is inflation? How it is constructed? Inflation is, so this is key here. For inflation, this is key here. Inflation is measured in relation to current year price index. So when we talk about in India, it is monthly wise. So current year month, a particular month, current year price index minus previous year price index divided by previous year price index into 100. Now normally what we expect, we think that, okay, if the price index take the case of this November 2016 data. So the November inflation data is in relation to, we are comparing here in this case, the current year price index, here what they are taking? The November 2016. Here November 2015, right? In November, there are two types of index are there. I'm not going to, generally I'll say that the inflation rate have come down. So it's somewhere near 3%. So what does it mean? It means that the increase in price index is comparatively lesser. That's why the price inflation rate have come down. So this is the reason. I agree with it. But there are other reasons also. So for that, I am going to introduce a new concept for that, for you to understand only. I am taking so much of time for, be very clear, what is called as base effect. What is called as base effect. So are you clear how inflation is measured? Now take our material, in that I have given an example, page number 7. There is a heading what is called as base effect. Have you seen that? And I have given two cases, case 1 and case 2. I have given two cases, case 1 and case 2. See, that case are in relation to 2 years data of a particular month. In case 1, what they are given? Price index of on January 2017 is what? 110 is the price index of January 2017. And for January 2018, what is the price index? 120. Now how inflation is calculated for January 2018? 120 minus 110, that is previous year, divided by 110 into 100. So what is the inflation for that month? Rate of inflation is 9.09. 9.09. Now take the case 2. March 2018, price index is 180. March 2009, price index is 190. So how much is the increase? 10 only. In the case 1 also increase is 10 only. Price C. In both the cases, increase in price index is only 10. Now see how much, what is the rate of inflation? 190 minus 180 divided by 180 into 100. What is the inflation? It is 5.55. See, in both the cases, the increase in the price index is 10. But what happened to the rate of inflation? There is a big difference is there. What is the reason? See the previous year, you see the previous, in both the cases, increase is 10 only, but see the base year, that is not base year, previous year index. See the previous year index in both the cases. Previous year, in one case the previous year index is 120, in the second case the previous year index is 180. Sorry, previous year index is 110 and 180. In the first case, previous year index is 110, in the second case, previous year index is 180. So we say that, so here the inflation have come down not because of anything, but because of the influence of previous year index. And this is what is called as base effect. This is what is called as where inflation have come down. So maybe due to high, see if the previous year index is high or low, that will have an influence over the rate of inflation. That situation is what is called. So actually the previous year index have influenced, high previous year index or low previous year index can influence the rate of inflation, and this has happened in 2013. Now in the latest data, when we talk about a particular index, they said that the inflation rate have come down. Okay, the price index have come down, agree, but more than that, it has come so low mainly because of base effect. What does it mean? Last year price index is high, and that has influenced the present year rate of inflation. Now you just go back and read that article again if you have any doubt. Okay, so that's why I am telling that all the concept will be cleared in the class. Then go back and read the newspaper, then you will be able to understand it. And UPSC have already asked a question. What do you mean by base effect? Just answer that question on base effect. Question number 8, 2011 question. What is the answer? See, now with this demand and supply, I discussed now how demand and supply influence the price level. Based on that, lot of questions have been asked. We just try to answer the question number 4. And write that in that question, write important. It's a very important question, and it have lot of concepts. And if you are able to answer that question, it means that your concept with demand and supply is clear. A rise in general level of prices may be caused by, number 1, what is there given? If there is an increase in the money supply, increase in money supply results in more demand, and that will result in increase in the price level. So 1 is correct. Then a decrease in the aggregate level of output. What do you mean by a decrease in the aggregate level of output? Supply has decreased. The supply have decreased, price will increase. Supply have decreased, price will increase. Then an increase in the effective demand. So what do you mean by effective? Means it's based on more than, see, supply. If effective demand means this is supply, this is demand. Effective demand means demand is more. So that break is so effective. There is an increase in the more demand, which is more than supply. So when there is an increase in the effective demand also, there will be an increase in the general price level. So answer is 1, 2 and 3. Now answer this question number 6. It's a very tricky question. Read the question carefully and you can answer it. Here the commodity is not wheat or rice. The commodity is money. The supply of money remaining the same, but the concept, I see same concept is sufficient for you to answer, get the answer. Money supply is same, there is an increase in demand. So when supply is same, when the supply is same and the demand increased, what will happen? There will be an increase of what? That we don't know, that you find out. So answer will be increase or decrease. You tell me that answer will be increase or decrease. It will be increase. Why? Because there is an increase in demand. So obviously answer is increase. Now find out what is the answer. Then this is how you have to answer. If you know the concept, this is how you have to answer. See, money supply can influence the general price level also. It can influence the interest rate also. Now we are very clear, since the demand is more than supply, there is an increase. Now you see what is increase here? There are two increases been given. One is interest rate, other is level of income and employment. So money supply can't influence employment or level of income. Money supply influence what? It influence interest rate. It influence interest rate. How it influence interest rate? When there is demand, obviously we have already discussed under money and banking. We have discussed under money and banking how money supply or demand and supply, when there is huge demand, how the interest rate will increase, because it's a market. In a market where a particular thing has been more demand, obviously if you see the money market, in money market how the repo rate increase or the call rate increase or the treasury bill rate increase, it's because when there is demand for a particular instrument. So similarly, when you require money, when there is huge demand for money, obviously the interest rate will increase. Now the question here is, the funny thing is, you be very clear, in this question they can change in this way. They might have given like this, increase in the level of prices, then things might have been changed. So they have not given. See, what can happen in this case? Two things can happen. One, it can result in increase in the level of prices. That is not there in the choice. It can result in increase in the level of prices. That is not there. Instead of that, what they are given? It's a fall in the level of prices. That's not the scenario. So it's a wrong scenario. Now, then the second thing is in relation to demand and supply of money. In relation to demand and supply of money, then other thing is when money supply. Try to understand, money supply mechanism have an influence over have an influence over interest rate. Now see it. Now what is the present interest rate? Now you will get loan at a lower interest rate. Why? Presently you will get, if you want a loan, the bank is ready to give you, but nobody wants loan. There is less demand for money and more supply. That's why the interest rate have come down. Now when things will change, when there is, so I am just reversing the interest rate concept and money supply. So we already discussed it. Go back and read the money. If anybody is having doubt, just revise it again, your money and banking material. And already I told you, be very clear. In economy, what all things you study earlier have to come back again, because it's all interrelated. Okay. So while discussing money and banking, so many times I discussed inflation without explaining what is inflation. I already told you, inflation control is one of the major objective of the central bank. And it's again a question. Answer the first question, question number 1. See, these are ABCD question. So in ABCD question, the rule is, already so many times I told you, rule is read all the choices and then comes to an answer. In ABCD question, read all the choices, and then even if you feel the statement 1 is correct, but ensure that you read A, B, C and D and then comes to an answer. Now what about statement A? What is the problem in that statement? There is a keyword is there. What is that keyword? Only. Controlling the inflation in India is the responsibility of the government of India only. That is the keyword, and that's a wrong keyword. That's a wrong statement. It is the responsibility of government of India and the central bank, RBI. So be very careful. See, these terms will help you to identify your answer. So that statement is wrong. Second statement. What is the keyword there? Everybody knows RBI have a major role. And what they had given? No role. No role. No role is the keyword. So that statement is also wrong. Now the concept is related with money circulation and inflation. Now that you know that what RBI do. Now tell me, money circulation increase or decrease helps in controlling inflation? To control inflation, what RBI do? It will decrease money circulation by using several instruments. By increasing CRR, by increasing the interest rate, by performing open market operation. What it does? It decrease the money circulation and influence the demand and influence the inflation. See, what happened? See, whenever, at least for a new student, revise the topics, at least, see, we are only covered money and banking, then after that only we have reached inflation. It's a related topic. So go back, if you have confusion in relation to these money circulation and all these things, go back and revise and come. And my request is, especially for new students who are new for economy, whenever you come for an economic class, revise all the topics which have been covered. Now, when the next, after Christmas, when we have a class, you revise all the money and banking module being given, revise the inflation, then only you come, then only you will be enjoy more. Or I have to think, oh, did I said these things in the earlier class? Please do that. Okay. Now, so what is the answer? It is C. Now, so we have discussed the four important concepts. What? Inflation, deflation, inflation, deflation, disinflation, reflation. We have discussed what is price index, how inflation rate is calculated, and we already discussed how the demand supply mechanism increases the price level. While discussing price index, we discussed two concepts which is different. What is that? Base year and base effect. Don't get confused, both are different. Base year is used to construct price index. Base effect is the inflation rate is being influenced by the previous year price index. Be very clear. Now after next class, don't think that's what is base year. Be very clear with this concept, base year and base effect.